All right, here we go. Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. We're going to start a full playthrough of Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. It's going to show some strategies for Shining Pearl as well. First, you meet Professor Rowan, and he's going to introduce you to the world of Pokemon. When you start the game, you can pick between 8 different characters. I chose the Dawn-like character in Shining Pearl, but I'm going to use still kind of like the Dawn-like character. Let's go with the Dawn-like character. For the sake of this playthrough, I'm going to call myself Yo-Yo. Your rival friend. Your rival friend's name is Barry. That's the standard name, so we'll go with Barry. Despite the exploration team's best efforts, the rare, oddly colored Pokemon eluded detection. The rumored red Gyarados failed to appear even fleetingly to the crestfallen team. You start out in your room. The unique thing about this remake is the chibi-like characters. So you're a chibi-like character. The people that battle Pokemon are called Pokemon trainers. Go downstairs and you will run into your mom like in every other Pokemon game. Barry's calling you about some emergency, your mom says. There are cuteness contests in the world of Sinnoh. We are in the Sinnoh region. When you leave, your mom says, don't go into the tall grass. Wild Pokemon might attack you, but let's go and get a starter Pokemon so they can't attack you. So your house is the southeast house. In this game, just talk to everyone you can, because these people can give you items, background, all sorts of cool tidbits. This game does have an autosave, feature. So, but you can change some of the stats on this to make it, you can change some of the options, right? Fast scroll text is going to generally be better. Battle effects I like, but there are definitely people that turn it off. Battle style switch versus set. Set is going to go a little faster. Switch is more reliable because it'll automatically ask you if you want to switch. And there is also a choice of whether you autosave or don't. I think it's fine to turn it off personally. I'm very good at saving. Some people may not be as good at saving. Background music is kind of interesting because for speedruns, if you turn it off completely, you're actually going to be playing through the game faster. It's a weird quirk of this game for speedruns. Let's save the settings to change text speed to fast and auto saved off. People who are not as good with saving should probably keep it on autosave on, but because of potential legendary catches and that sort of thing and wanting to reset, I think it is a little better to autosave off, as long as you remember to save. Your house is the southeast house. We're just talking to everyone in all the houses. The town you're in is called Twinleaf Town. It is one of those standard small towns that you start with in almost every Pokemon game, with the exception of White Black 2. In the northwest house is your rival Barry, who tells you it's time to go to the lake. He says, "I'm fining you 1 million G if you're late." He starts running off and then it says he forgot something, so just go in and he was gone for a second. He came back running home. Let's go upstairs. Barry's forgotten his bag and his guidebook. Tells you he's gone to the lake. That he's waiting on the road and it's going to be a $10 million fine if you're late. Go back downstairs. We're going to go ahead and go north from Fall Arbor Town. Just went off tearing northward. That's the whole town, really. So let's go north on Route 201. Barry gets excited about a potential shiny red Gyarados. So he runs off on a Route 201, and now Barry's just following you. We're going to go west on Route 201 toward the Verity lakefront. It is called the Lake of Emotions. We're going to go up towards the lake. Barry's excited to try to find a shiny red Gyarados. There's Professor Rowan and Lucas. They're just staring out at Lake Verity. Rowan and Lucas kind of run by to leave the lakefront. Barry wants to check it out. He is unafraid of the wild Pokemon in the grass. Finds a briefcase. And you are surrounded by Starlies. Famous last words by Barry. The briefcase has 3 Pokeballs. Looks like you can get your starter here. Let's see. The left one is a Turtwig, which is a grass-type Pokemon. The Chimp Pokemon is in the middle, Chimchar, a fire-type Pokemon. And the Penguin Pokemon Piplup is the water-type Pokemon. If you're speedrunning, you'll want to pick Chimchar, because Chimchar has the easiest route. If you just want a quick playthrough, Chimchar is going to be your best Pokemon. Turtwig is your second best choice, the tiny leaf Pokemon. Middle, medium difficulty. The hardest difficulty is going to be the Penguin Pokemon Piplup. We'll choose Piplup for this run. To give us a little bit of a challenge. This is your first wild Pokemon encounter, Starly, which is a normal and flying type Pokemon, only level 2. You have a level 5 Piplup. You have 2 moves currently, you have Pound and Growl. And you're going to have something equivalent with any starter. So you have a level 5 starter at this point, one of those 3. You want to use whatever is the attack that actually does damage. You press Y, it's going to show you the power. Whichever one actually has a number is the one you should use. In the case of Piplup, that's going to be Pound. Just keep mashing it because the other move that all the starters have are not going to be very effective this early on in the game, or really ever. So Barry is going to pick whichever Pokemon has the type advantage against yours. In this case, that's a Turtwig over a over Piplup. Barry says, we had to use the starters. Those Pokemon won't mind, will they? Lucas is relieved that the briefcase could be found. Lucas is like, oh man, how am I going to explain that you use these Pokemon to the Professor? It's the Professor's briefcase. Lucas goes and runs off with the briefcase. Now you run out of the Lake Verity lakefront. Back onto Route 201. Barry says that we've got to go back and return these Pokemon because they're not ours. But Barry just wants to spend a little more time with this little guy. Barry says, hey, it's those people. Is that old guy Rowan staring at us? Rowan demands to see the Pokemon. And then says he's going back to his lab and just leaves his Pokemon with these randos. Lucas says, let's go back to the lab. Barry says if he was angry, he could have yelled at us or whatever. And didn't he want his Pokemon back? So now you fast forward and you're back at home. Mom showing empathy. Wow, I can't believe that happened to you. Am I ever glad that both you and Barry are unharmed? She mentions Professor Rowan is of Sandgem Town. That he's intimidating, well known for his studies on Pokemon. So you gotta visit him in Sandgem Town. Mom says you need to properly explain why you had no choice but to use his Pokemon. Don't worry, I'm sure he will understand. Mom then gives you a pair of running shoes, because you might as well run to Sandgem Town. All you need to do is tilt the left stick. You don't have to pull down a button like B or anything, and you can dash. Unlike in previous games where you had to hold down a button. So look at us running. Going back into the northwest house. Let's see if Barry's there. Barry's not here. Alright, let's run north now from Twinleaf, and we're actually going to go east this time on Route 201. First person you talk to will explain that wild Pokemon lurk in tall grass. They come bursting out at any time. You currently don't have any Pokeballs to catch these Pokemon, but eventually you'll be able to catch them. You can only fight them at the moment. If you're going to go up above, there's not anything you can grab yet, so we're just going to go to the right. We're going to keep going east on Route 201. There's a trainer tip that says what I said. Don't be shy. Talk to anyone and everyone you happen to see. By talking to people, you will get valuable information advice, but you also can get items. If your Pokemon's health, its HP is getting low, you should go home and get some rest. Now we have to go through some tall grass going up and to the right. Another person says if a Pokemon runs out of HP, it faints and can't battle anymore. If a Pokemon's HP gets low, you should heal it with a potion. Here. And she gives you some potions as a sample for free, which is very nice. Very kind. If we keep going to the right, there's another 201 route sign showing that you can jump down ledges to take shortcuts on routes. We're now in Sandgem Town, which is to the east. We now see Lucas, who wants you to join him and see the professor. Pokemon Research Lab is on the northwest side of Sandgem Town, so we'll go in. Except the rival, Barry, just keeps running into you everywhere. Says, that old guy, he's not scary so much as he's totally out there. Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm out of here. See you later. Lucas says your friend always seems to be in such a rush. Rowan wants you to show the starter Pokemon again, but notices that the Pokemon is happy, so you can have that Pokemon as a gift. You can nickname or not. I'm not going to give a nickname. Barry explained what happened at the lake. He notices the growing bond between you and your starter, and wants to entrust you with Piplup, or whichever starter you may have. Lucas is like, I'm glad you are kind with Pokemon. Rowan finally introduces who he actually is. So you're just completely caught in suspense until this point. Rowan's going to give you a Pokédex, which allows automatically recording of data on all Pokemon in Sinnoh, which is cool. It's like an encyclopedia that updates itself. Goes ahead and tells you to meet as many Pokemon as you can. And then you're asked about what your feelings were when you had a Pokemon on Route 201. He's lived a long time, 60 long years, and he still gets a thrill when he's with a Pokemon. Lucas is going to join as a comrade working towards the same goal of keeping records of everything. There's a reference by one of the lab assistants that Rowan invented a new Pokédex while working alongside a professor from the Kanto region, which is Professor Oak. When you leave, Lucas is going to show you a few things. The building with the red roof is the Pokémon Center. You can get your Pokémon healed for free if it's been hurt in battle, and it's found in most towns. The building with the blue roof in most towns is the Poké Mart. It's a shop where you can buy and sell all sorts of items. Over time, you'll be able to buy more items. Lucas says you should go tell your family you're helping Professor Rowan put together his Pokédex. So you should, because you'll be running everywhere, you should let someone know, like your mom. No idea where Dad is, nowhere to be found, like in most Pokemon games. Okay, so if you enter the red roof building, that's the Pokemon Center. If you talk to people, the local club is located at the top floor of any Pokemon Center. You can have all sorts of fun with your friends. So, a few things you can do is you can battle and trade and that's all, that sort of stuff. So there's a PC you can access in any Pokemon Center. There's someone's PC, Rowan's PC, and switch off. The Rowan's PC allows you to look up what Pokemon you've got, and you can go switch between boxes. Rowan's PC really just tells you kind of what your Pokédex count is. You can select a trainer appearance for the Union Room, and that's where you can battle and trade and all that stuff. You'd have to save beforehand, but notice that basically when you interact with trainers, other people who you have as friends on the Switch, you can do so with a link code or with a group. You can even mix records and exchange trainer cards. And then there's a Pokemon Coliseum, where you can use local communication, internet, or battle formats. You can do single battle, one-on-one battles. Double battle is 2 versus 2 battles. And multi-battles is interesting as it is 4 trainers with 1 Pokemon each. They battle against each other in teams of 2. If you're on the bottom floor, you can actually talk to the others, and they'll kind of tell you if you hand over your Pokemon to the nurse there, she'll restore your Pokemon to perfect health in no time at all. So let's do that. It only really takes a moment. And then old man talks about the blue PC, which is definitely useful. The underground section is currently closed, but it will be open as you progress further into the game. There are also signs outside of buildings, which can be useful. If you look at the Poké Mart, there's not a lot you can buy yet. But if you talk to the person at the counter, there are a few things you can buy. You can buy Pokeballs, potions, antidotes, and paralyzed heals. The big thing I would say is having, or even early game, is having at least 10 Pokeballs so you can catch anything you encounter and really start expanding on the lineup. Plus, when you buy 10 Pokeballs at a time, you get a free Premier Ball. So it's like a bonus for the same price. Premier Balls are the same as Pokeballs in terms of strength, they just look white instead of red. Different look. Someone explains if you come across a Pokemon you just gotta have, throw a Pokeball. And then another person explains if a Pokemon loses all of its HP, it can't battle anymore. So this person's buying a lot of potions to avoid having that happen. That's not necessary, but having a few potions can be helpful. One person reminds you should be saving from time to time. So the save is pressing the X button and then pressing the R button, and then you'll save. Lucas has a house here. Let's go to Lucas's house. Check that out. Not really anything at Rowan's house. A good trainer is one that takes care not to let their Pokemon faint from losing HP. Pokemon grow steadily stronger from battling against other Pokemon. At first, you should heal your Pokemon regularly at Pokemon Centers while you're leveling them up. That's generally good advice anyway, even past the beginning stage. Now we're gonna go back, take that hop down the ledge on west on Route 201. We're running back. To Twinleaf Town, and we're going to go back into the Southeast house and talk to Mom. If you talk to Mom, she'll actually heal your Pokemon for you. Your mom's like, wow, Professor Rowan asked you to do something that big. Go for it! So your mom sends you, the 10-year-old, off on an adventure on your own. Gives you a guidebook. Mom's jealous. You're not alone. You have your Pokemon with you. I wish I could go instead. She says, when you're exposed to new things and experience new sensations, it makes your mother happy too, but please come back sometimes and visit. And then Barry's mom comes. Barry shouted about going on an adventure, and then he bolted. He's so headstrong and reckless. I at least wanted him to have this. So you've got to take a parcel from Barry's mom to Barry. Barry says, knowing Barry probably would head straight to Jubilife City. So take that parcel to him. And then your mom gives you a hat. Fancy little hat. Kind of a beanie kind of hat. Now it's time to go back. Go north. Through Twinleaf Town. East again on Route 201. On Route 201, you're going to encounter things like Starly, a very common Pokemon in this game. When you want to capture a Pokemon, you want to knock it down to less than half health. Down to yellow. Red is even better without knocking it out. Then you can catch it with a Pokeball. Starly is a flying type, which means that it can use a future move called Fly, and you can fly across the map. But for now, I'm going to go ahead and press X, which allows me to select my items, catch Pokemon. I'm just going to throw a normal Pokeball on it. You can just use X instead of going to the items, which is a relatively new feature in Pokemon main series games and remakes. The nice thing is when you're fighting, your Pokemon also gain experience points, even without knocking out the Pokemon. You don't have to give it nicknames. Your first 6 Pokemon are going to automatically join your party. When you get past 6, you will have to go into the Pokemon boxes and one of those PCs in a Pokemon Center. It's generally a good idea to battle and get as much experience as you can. I'm going to go ahead and battle these Pokemon that I'm encountering. With the idea, since I've already caught a Starly, to knock it out. Get the full experience points. Notice that Starly, your second Pokemon in this case, your other Pokemon will also get experience. Experience share is automatically on, so your lower, even the Pokemon who are not fighting will still gain experience, just not as much as the main Pokemon. The other thing is you can use the control stick to run around, or you can use a D-pad. So I'm using a D-pad here. This is control stick. The advantage of the control stick is you can run around, which is going to be a little faster because you have the running shoes on. And this will be the first pause point for today. I will continue later. We are half an hour in.